Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. So in today's video I'm going to be doing my flawless foundation full coverage routine. This is basically just kind of my go-to routine for kind of if I want my makeup to last longer than usual, so if I'm going on a night out or I'm just wearing my makeup for a really long time during the day. So these are just some tips and tricks that I've picked up over the years and I've personally found that works for me. So if you'd like to know what my routine is, then please keep watching. Sort this hair out. So before applying any makeup and even trying to start with foundation or primer or anything, you're going to want to make sure that you have washed your face properly. If you just used a makeup wipe the night before, that doesn't count. You need to wash your face thoroughly and just cleanse it properly. You need to give it a good deep clean, because I found as well that if you just use a makeup wipe and then the next morning you go to apply your makeup to your face, especially your foundation, it will just not apply smoothly and it just won't look as nice, and it'll just kind of look like it's sitting on top of your skin and not actually sunk into your skin. So I know it's a bit gross, but I kept my makeup wipe that I used last night just to show you like everything that's come off. So I use Johnson's makeup wipes. These are my favourite makeup wipes. I've tried so many and these have just become like my favourite, like they're just the best. They have like 3 different ones as well, and I have the moisturising ones. So that's what they look like. There's like a purple and a pink one. Can't remember what either of them do, but I like the moisturising ones the best. This is what my makeup wipe will look like after taking my makeup off. Then I would also go in with some micellar water on a makeup pad, because I feel like I didn't know this until like maybe a year or 2 ago, that you know, just using a makeup wipe and then leaving it and then just washing your face and everything is not okay. Because I use a makeup wipe and then I use like micellar water and a cotton pad, and this is like the leftover from it. It's, you still have crap on your face, so make sure you clean your face properly, basically, is what I'm trying to say. So once you've done all of that, then you can actually move on to your skincare. So I did all my skincare last night. I washed my face last night, cleansed it, and then I've washed it and cleansed it again this morning. So I always start off with my skincare. So for like any makeup that I'm wearing, I always have an eye cream and a moisturizer on. So I use eye creams morning and night. I kind of have 2 different ones, one for morning, one for night. My morning one is the Origins Ginzing eye cream, and I find that this is a lot thinner and it's more lightweight than the one that I tend to use for night, which is a Bobbi Brown one. So this is just my favourite, and this is for refreshing your under eye and also brightening it and depuffing it. So this is my favourite, so I would use a little bit of this and just kind of dot it underneath my eyes, and I find that it just lets your kind of like foundation and your concealer and everything that's sitting on top of it just apply a lot smoother, and it just feels a lot nicer as well. So I always use my ring finger to pat any product that I use under my eyes in. I feel like everyone knows that, like it's just a well-known thing that your ring finger is like your most, what's the word, like your most delicate finger. So that's why that's the best to use under your eyes. Then moving on to moisturiser. So if you've watched my channel for a while, then you'll know that my favourite moisturiser is the Neutrogena Hydra Boost Gel Cream. I've just found that is just the best kind of consistency and the best kind of formula for a moisturiser for me. It's not too thick, but it's also not too thin, and it just gives the right amount of moisture for me. So I'd either use that, or this is actually a new one that I've got and I really, really like it. So it's by Pixi, and it's their H2o Skin Drink. So it's also a gel moisturiser. I just really like gel ones, and like I've been using this for about a week and it's just really, really lightweight. So if you have oily skin, which I kind of have normal / oily, I get a bit dry, so I'm just everything, right? I'm good combination me. So if you have oily skin, this is actually a really good moisturiser for you, because it won't make you really oily, but it also gives you like the right amount of hydration. Because if you have oily skin, it doesn't necessarily mean that your skin's hydrated. Like you still need hydration in your skin if you're oily, but it's just like that lightweight but still full of moisture that you won't feel oily or it won't be too heavy on your skin. So moving on to primers. Let me get most of it out. Okay, so for kind of like most long wearing and to kind of help, you know, those really full coverage foundations and stuff, I could easily just go and use my Becca First Light Primer, which is just my favourite primer of all time, but this is kind of like specifically a video for kind of long wear and kind of that works best with full coverage foundations and concealers and stuff. So as good as that is, you know, it's tacky, it's everything, but as far as long wearing, I have two primers here because as well as when I'm going on a night out, and if I'd use that, I would always use a kind of a spray primer as well as a normal kind of like cream primer, if you will. I have two here, and when I was like looking in my makeup collection for like the kind of the best and like one of my most trusty primers, the Kat Von D one just stuck out to me the most. This is the Kat Von D Hydration Lock-It Primer. So again, it's kind of like a moisturising primer, but it is also like one of the most tacky primers that I own. It's so good. Then I would also use a kind of spray primer just to add to the longevity of the makeup and everything. So the one I picked out is the Nip and Fab Primer Water. That's what it looks like, and I've used this before on my channel and I hate the spray of it, so I always just spray it into my hand and just do that and kind of pat it in to my skin because I feel like it goes a bit more tacky if you kind of tap it into your skin. When I went to look for kind of like the most full coverage yet long wearing foundations in my collection, they ended up being two drugstore foundations, and they both ended up being Maybelline foundations as well. So as much as I love like my high-end foundations, kind of like the full coverage ones, drugstore for me. So I've got the Maybelline Super Stay 24 Hour Full Coverage Foundation right here, and mine is in the shade Sun Beige. And then I also have the Maybelline Fit Me Matte and Poreless foundation as well, and this one is in 220. So I love mixing foundations together. I just love doing that myself because this has the coverage that I want. This will kind of give me the finish that I want as well, because it kind of, I don't know, this makes you look a tiny bit dewy. It does. And also the colour will balance this out a bit because this is a tiny bit too dark for me. I think it's a bit more pinky, so this will kind of even out the tone. Yeah, it will. As far as kind of getting the most kind of flawless and full coverage foundation application, to me it doesn't necessarily mean you just slap on as much foundation and makeup as you can. I tend to put less on and then work with it like that and then build it up if I feel like I need to. So for the most full coverage kind of foundation application, I do use a beauty blender to blend it out, but I will apply it with a brush first, and to me it just gives you the most full coverage. Oh, that matched through. So once you're looking like that, I then just use my sponge just to blend it all out. And what I also like to do is, so before I'd apply concealer and just kind of finish off the kind of foundation, the two things that I really like doing, I've been doing it for about a year kind of, I guess, is I use the setting spray and I spray it onto my sponge, and then I'll really press the foundation into the skin a lot more, and I feel like it does genuinely help with how long the foundation lasts on the skin. So I'm using the Urban Decay All Nighter setting spray. So I'm just gonna again just go over the foundation. And also, if you feel like when you're applying your foundation, I know it happens to me sometimes, sometimes I kind of wring out my sponge a bit too much, so in the middle of like applying my foundation it'll kind of dry up a bit, so also adding the setting spray, it just dampens it a bit more for you. So for concealer, I'm just going to use the most full coverage trusty concealer that I own. I feel like everybody, you know, you just know. So this is the Tarte Shape Tape Concealer. It's been my favourite concealer for over a year now, and literally nothing has beaten it. I just don't use it that much on my channel because I know it can get annoying to just use like the same products over and over again, and I know a lot of you do prefer like more drugstore products than high end, so I try not to use it too much. So I only use a small amount. I know a lot of people, you know, do big triangles under their eyes, highlight and everything. I just don't do that. I just conceal, that's all I do. And also I've been doing this for a few months now, but I always like to leave my concealer just to kind of settle a tiny bit. I don't let it completely dry down, obviously, because you do need to blend it out, but I let it settle for a bit and it dries the tiniest bit, and then I blend it out with my beauty blender, because then for me I've noticed that it gives you more of a full coverage, and especially if you use a sponge like I do, it won't soak up all the product as well. So I usually go and do my brows while I let the concealer settle, so I went and did that. So now I'm just going to use my sponge and just blend out the under eye. So next step for me would then be to set the under eyes and then set your face as well. So on a daily basis I don't necessarily bake every single day. I will just use a normal pressed powder just to set my face and also my under eye. But for today's video I'm going to do baking, and I'm going to bake. It still sounds so weird, but I'm going to bake and also just set my face with some pressed powder as well. As far as baking under the eyes, I'm going to use powder that I've been using for such a long time now. I haven't used it on my channel, I don't think. I haven't used it in such a long time, and I feel like I should just crack it out again. But this is the RCMA No Colour Powder, and I feel like everyone used to love this so much, but no one talks about it anymore. So as usual, I will use my Small Real Techniques sponge, but what I do for nights out as well is I would dampen the sponge as well. This is one of my like tips I use. I dampen the sponge either with setting spray, water, whatever you want to do, and then dip it in and then press it under, because I feel like it just really locks it in to your skin, and I feel like it just applies a lot better that way. So I'm just going to go back in with my setting spray. So it's not going to be like dripping wet, it's just going to be slightly damp. So I'm first going to just use my face sponge just to make sure there's no under eye creases, because you don't want to set them down. And then I'm just going to dip this into the powder. So while that's just settling under the eyes, I'm going to set the rest of my face. So as usual, no matter what look I'm doing, literally every single day I do this, but I'm just going to set my T-zone, and I'm just going to use my Rimmel Stay Matte Powder as I always do. I'm then going to set the rest of my face, and I am just going to use the smallest amount of the Beauty Bakerie powder. I'm not going to use too much because, like I said, I don't like using too much powder on my face. So just going to get a big floofy brush, press it all over and then blend it out. You don't get a flashback with this powder either. It just makes you like, I've worn this and taken photos. Oh my god, it makes your skin look flawless, this powder does. And then I'm just going to kind of pat upwards where the RCMA powder is, and just kind of blend that away. So that is pretty much it, that's all I do. So the next step is pretty much when you have all the rest of your makeup on and it's just setting your face. So obviously I'm not going to do that in this video because this is just on this is on foundation and kind of the base application. So I'm just going to kind of talk you through what I would do, which is pretty much just setting your face. Just use any setting spray that works for you and that you think is your most trusted setting spray. Mine, like I said, is the Urban Decay All Night Spray. I've been using this for years and it's still my favourite setting spray ever. It lasts so long because the bottle's huge, and to me it's worth, you know, splurging and spending a lot of money on because it's so good. It really does lock in all your makeup, and so I will just spray so much. I'll kind of fan it on my face so it kind of dries, and then I will take my sponge and just really press it into the skin, and that's all I do. So that completes this video, guys. Thank you so much for watching, and I hope you learned maybe some of my tips, and I hope you enjoyed the video. So thank you so much for watching. Please subscribe if you haven't already, and give the video a big thumbs up if you enjoyed it, and I will see you in my next video. Bye! So that completes this— oh! Oh!